Hello, everybody, and welcome to Vinyl Treasures. I'm your host, Johnny G. John Galindo, coming to you live each and every Saturday only here on Top Shelf. Always want to welcome you to the January 26, 2019 Vinyl Treasure Show. It's the last Saturday of the month. That means it's all 1960s sounds out of my collection, 1964 and later. I think I got one from 63, maybe two from 63, but a lot of cool sounds. Opened up with a cool rockin' surf instrumental, the 60s show tonight there for a group called the Vinyltreasure. They're out of Newton, Massachusetts, and the opening voice you heard was that of lead guitarist Dave Wilkerson. This one charted number 24 on WBZ out of Boston, Mass. From August 63, the Vinyltreasure on G-Clef. Song entitled Hangin' Five. So you got to hang around for the next 2 hours as we play some cool 60s record. Let's open up the vocal portion with this Canadian singer. Started recording back in 1960, but didn't have a hit record until 1970 with a song called Indiana Wants Me. Came out on the Rare Earth record label, but he had some cool releases on the Motown subsidiary VIP Records. This is his third of four, and it's a song he co-wrote. His name is Richard Dean Taylor, but you know him better as R. Dean Taylor. We go to April 1968 on the VIP record label. R. Dean Taylor with Don't Fool Around.
Don't build my hopes, they tear them down. Play square with me, don't fool around. Don't fool around. If you don't want my arms to hold you, don't fool around. If you don't want my lips to kiss you, don't make me dream, don't lead me on. Play square with me, don't fool around. You always flirt around with me, you come real close, reach up and muss my hair. But I don't wanna play around, you know real well how much I care. That isn't fair. Don't fool around. If you don't want this heart to love you, don't fool around. If you don't want this boy to need you, don't build my hopes, we'll tear them down. Play square with me, don't fool around. You always flirt around with me, you come here close, reach up and muss my hair. But I don't wanna play around, you know very well how much I care. That isn't fair. Don't fool around. You don't want my arms to hold you, don't fool around. If you don't want my lips to kiss you, don't make me dream, don't lead me on. Play square with me, don't fool around. Don't fool around. Don't fool around.
Johnny G doesn't fool around here on Saturday evenings. I feature only original vinyl 45s. That's Mr. R. Dean Taylor, April 1968, release on the VIP record label, one of the thousands of labels your host Johnny G collects. Don't Fool Around is the name of that one. As we continue here, got a number of flip sides from the last 60s edition. We go to our first one here I featured the B-side of this 45 by this gal. Her name is Jill Harris. The song was called Oh Baby, which was co-written and produced by ex-Motown engineer Robert Bateman. Moved over to Capitol Records around 1960 64, mid 64. So he wrote and produced this A-side here. Let's go to June of 64, Capitol Records. Jill Harris, this is the A-side. It's called Baby, Won't You Try Me? Yes, Daryl, I have to agree with you. That is the sound of Motown, written all over that tune there by Jill Harris, June 1964. Baby, Won't You Try Me on the Capitol record label there. Although, too bad that record wasn't a hit for her, but have a couple hits tonight. Usually don't play hits here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, but let's continue here. This next artist, he's from New York. His real name is Eddie King, has later releases on the Big Wheel and Price label, but prior to those releases, he recorded for RCA Records under the name King George. Now, here's the A-side to his second release on the RCA label. Let's go to January 1966 for King George on RCA and his tune called I'm Gonna Be Somebody Someday.
Yeah.
January 66 release there on the RCA record label. King George, his second of two, the intended A side of the 45, I'm Gonna Be Somebody Someday. Yes, I will. As we continue here for a Saturday evening, it's my all 60s edition. Now, I rarely play bubblegum music here on the 60s edition, but I gotta say, at least with this next song, it's a record that my sister and I used to dance to. So let's see, she's 2 years younger than me. So this was 1969. So I was 11 years old at the time, and she was 9 years old at the time. I guess actually I was younger because I was 10. I wasn't 11 until in September that year, and she wasn't either. So we were really youngsters dancing to this next record here. But I really like the song. I do. It does bring back some cool memories when I listen to it. Now, the voice of Bubblegum on the Buddha label, you know who that is. That's Joey Levine, recording as the Ohio Express on this one. It's the fifth of 9 on the Buddha label, a song he co-wrote with Steve Feldman. This one charted number 26 on Cashbox, number 30 on Billboard. We go to March of 1969 with the sound of the Ohio Express and their tune called Mercy. The sound of bubblegum here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. That's the Ohio Express, March 1969. Joey Levine, he is the voice of Ohio Express. Joey Levine there. Mercy is the name of the tune on the Buddha record label. I could probably do a show on songs with the title Mercy or Mercy in the title. That'd be an interesting show for sure. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. This next group, they're from Los Angeles, California. They would perform in white top hats and white tuxedos, and the lead singer, he played Lieutenant Whitehead in the 1967 Elvis Presley movie Easy Come, Easy Go. Does anybody remember that movie by Elvis Presley? I sure don't. But this is a song that he wrote and produced. We go to October 1967 on Warner Brothers Records. It's Michael Elie and the Aristocracy. That's cool. The Aristocracy. Mickey. No, wait, did I say Michael? It's Mickey. Mickey Ellie. Elley. And the Aristocracy. The song is called Someone Like Me. Have to agree with Jeff. That's a pretty cool tune there on the Warner Brothers record label from October 1967. Mickey Ellie and the Aristocracy on the Warner Brothers record label. Someone Like Me is the name of the tune. Let's continue here for a Saturday evening. 1960s 45s. Laurie Records announced in the August 65 edition of Billboard magazine that they were branching out to the R&B field with a new label. They were calling it Providence Records. It was a short-lived label, only had 22 releases in all, but here is the ninth released for the label by a group, by the Jackson Brothers. And I'm going to send this one out to Bopper Boy Warren. I think he's going to like this tune here. It's from September of 1965, the Jackson Brothers on Providence. It's called I've Gotta Hear It From You.
Someone told me you still want me, and they're telling me constantly that you want me back again, but I gotta hear from you before I believe it's true. Yes, I gotta hear from you before I believe it's true.
Those are the Jackson Brothers. Jackson Brothers, September 1965 release on the Providence label, a subsidiary of Laurie Records. I've Got to Hear It From You is the name of the tune. Now, this one's produced by someone by the name of Adair, Adaire. Now, I have some records on the Adair label, but I don't know who that is. If anybody knows, send Johnny G an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com. Let's continue here. Now, this next group is originally from North Carolina. Their first release came out in 1965 on the Aqua label. They followed it up with this release on Al Goldner's Gold B label, which is out of New York City. Now, written by group members, the keyboardist John Hess and a guitarist Roy Edwards. Members of the group wrote this song. It features Anthony Manor on lead. They're known as Anthony and the Aquanites. We go back to March of 1967. This is on the Golby label. It's called I Remember.
I remember her just a month ago, when I was foolish enough to let you go. I told you I didn't know if I was sure. And this pain in my heart I want to cure. It seems every time I see you walking by my door, it makes me want to love you just that much more. And when I see those big precious eyes, it makes me sort of realize, well, girl, if you'll just give me one more chance, I know that we can save our romance. I found out in recent days that I made a mistake in many ways. It seems every time I hear your name, it just starts driving my heart deep insane. Now that I found out my mistake, ooh, your love back I will take. Girl, I want you back so badly. And girl, I love you so badly.
That's Anthony and the Aqualads. I hope I didn't say the Aquanites. The Aquanites, they're out of Detroit, that group, but this is Anthony and the Aqualads, March 1967. I Remember is the name of the tune. It's on the Golby label. Anthony is Anthony Manor. He is on lead. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Now, many of the Northern Soul collectors know this next singer for her 1969 Mohawk 45, Don't Bring Me Down. But prior to that, she had this 45 on the Tower label. Her name is Rita DaCosta, and it's a song written and produced by Larry Cusick and Richie Adams. It's also arranged by Roy Glover. We go to September of 1965 for Rita DaCosta on the Tower label. It's called You and Nothing More.
Kissed your lips, and I knew I found what I've been looking for. You, and nothing more. You, and nothing more. Life was empty, nothing seemed to thrill me, till I felt your eager fingers chill me. In your arms I learned all the thrills of love I never had before. With you, and nothing more. You, and nothing more. Tell me that you love me and believe me when I say I pray you'll never leave me. If I lost your love, how could I go on? 'Cause I'm just living for you, and nothing more. You, and nothing more.
That's a nice tune there by Rita Costa. No, Rita DaCosta. Sorry about that, folks. September 1965 release, You and Nothing More is the name of that one. Came out on the Tower record label. Now, Larry Kusek, who produced this record and wrote the song. He was a lyricist in the 1970s. Wrote lyrics to many major movie themes like The Godfather, Romeo and Juliet, Murder on the Orient Express, Rosemary's Baby, etc. And Richie Adams, who also produced the record, he was previously the lead singer of the Fireflies. You know his hit from '59, a song entitled You Were Mine, on the Ribbon record label. We play those on my 50s and early 60s edition. You know, a lot of these records from the 60s I used to purchase for $1 from my doo-wop dealers. They would sell me these records for $1 to $5, and I would just pick them out because they were missing numbers. So I thought they were possibly label fillers. I did pay some for some of the more obscure soul records, but I did get some pretty cheap. But let's continue here. Now, on the last 60s show, I played a B-side to Dusty Springfield's second release on the Phillips label. The B-side was called Something Special, so I couldn't file this one back unless I played the intended A-side, because it's a 45 my aunt purchased, and it brings back lots of memories to me, although I have to say that she really is not doing well. I was at the hospital today. She's in CCU. She suffered a heart attack, actually 2 heart attacks on I think it was a Friday that, no, it was Thursday or Friday, I forget, but 2 heart attacks. She drove herself to the hospital. It was horrible. That was not good. But, I don't know, she's got some stents in there, so I hope she's okay, because she's got to come on and do a show with me. She definitely does, but she bought this 45 when it came out, and I like this record. I really do. We go to March of 1964, Miss Dusty Springfield on the Phillips label, and her hit, this was a hit for her, a song called Stay a While.
Stay a while, but you hurry. Stay a while.
That's Miss Dusty Springfield there. That is her second release on the Phillips label, Stay a While, March 1964 release there. And I really like that record. I remember my aunt used to play that 45, although the styrene, terrible. You got to get that one on a vinyl promo. I have a vinyl promo floating around somewhere here in the No Humidity basement. Also, she lip-synced this song on her first American Bandstand appearance. You can check it out on YouTube. She's there. It was a big number 42. Well, not a big number 42, but number 42 on Cashbox, 38 on Billboard, but a big number 11 on WAVZ out of New Haven, Connecticut. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, we just heard from a gal from England. How about a guy from Australia? Now, he had this sole release on the Warner Brothers record label. It was a song. Well, actually, Fred, you're going to have to help me with this because it's a little bit confusing on who did it first, because the song was first. I guess I was able to find that the first release of this song was by B.B. King on the ABC Paramount label in May of 64. But then in July 64, a version came out on the Cap label by J.B. Love, who was really Jimmy Breedlove, who wrote this song. So maybe later he wanted to release it on his own after he gave it to B.B. King. I don't know what happened with that, but supposedly you would think that the J.B. Love release would be the first. But anyway, this release came out later in the year, October 1964, covered by this Australian artist. His name is Jamie Mahar. We go to Warner Brothers Records, October 64, Jamie Mahar, and his rendition of the tune, I Wouldn't Have It Any Other Way.
You've got me in the palm of your hand. I'm right where you knew that I would land. But baby, that's where I wanna stay. I wouldn't like it, I wouldn't want it, I wouldn't have it any other way. You make me jump like a puppet on a string. But when I'm in your arms, I feel like a king. But no matter what people may say, I wouldn't like it, I wouldn't want it, I wouldn't have it any other way. So take my lips, my arms, darling, take all of me. You can do what you please, but just don't set me free. So baby, if you love me every day, I wouldn't like it, I wouldn't want it, I wouldn't have it any other way. So baby, if you love me every day, I wouldn't like it, I wouldn't want it, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Cover tunes here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. That is from October 1964, Jamie Mahar, M-A-H-A-R. He is a singer from Australia on the Warner Brothers record label. I Wouldn't Have It Any Other Way is the name of the tune. There's some video clip of him singing that. I don't know where, but check it out on YouTube. They got some fantastic stuff on YouTube lately. They really do. Anyway, let's continue here with more 60s. Let's head to Detroit, Michigan for this next group. They put out 3 on the RCA label. Now, their biggest hit was their first record on RCA. Not really a big hit for them, but for their other records, it was a big hit. I think it made number 88 on the Billboard charts. It was called Sweetest One. They followed it up with this song written by Jack Ashford, produced by Paul Robinson. It features Percy Williams on lead. We go to March of 1967. Give a listen to the Metros. That's on RCA. It's called No Baby.
You to believe it, they want you to believe that I don't love you. If you think I'm trying to fool you, baby, this is what I'm trying to tell you. No, baby, no, baby. I know I've done wrong. Don't you be cruel, girl. I want you to know that I really care, baby. But if you have something on your mind and you think that you're wasting your time, no, baby, I don't want you thinking of it. I know there's been times when I was untrue, baby, but I soon found out that real love was you, girl. But if you think what I've done was so cruel and that I'm trying to make a fool out of you, no, baby, I don't want to think you out of you. I don't want you to even think that I'm going to make a fool out of you. Let me tell you one thing. I'm willing to lay my love on the line, baby. Come handle this fool and stop wasting time, baby. And if you think all I've done was so cruel and that I'm gonna make a fool out of you, no, baby, I'm not gonna make a fool out of you. All I wanna do is be true. Come lay my love on the line. All right, baby. I don't want you to think that I'm gonna hurt you, little girl. Don't listen to the people.
I like that record there by the Metros. Percy Williams on lead there, March 1967 release. That is their second release on the RCA record label. No Baby is the name of the tune. That is the plug side of the 45. I think the Northern Soul collectors like the flip side. This record sells for some bucks. I only paid $1 for it or less for this 45 when I first found it, but it's the second of 3 for the Metros. They also have an RCA LP. But those 3 releases, after those 3 releases, RCA just dropped them, and I think Percy Williams, he passed away November 6th of 2011 from cancer at the age of 65. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We're spinning 1960s 45s out of my collection. Let's continue here. I normally feature this next singer on my 50s show. He was the lead singer of The Wanderers, recorded for the Onyx Cub, also I think Savoy Records as the Singing Wanderers. But in 1965, he embarked on a solo career, had 3 releases on the United Artists label. His most well-known song, I think, is called The Drifter, which was his second. Here is the follow-up and his final release on United Artists, produced by Jerry Granahan. We go to April 1966 for Mr. Ray Pollard. United Artists Records, it's called It's a Bad Thing.
When you love somebody and you know deep down inside they don't love you, is it a sad thing when you cry your heart out over little things that shouldn't bother you? Is it a sad thing? Yeah, it's a bad thing. It's a very bad thing. I should know, 'cause I'm in love and know she doesn't seem to care about me. So you keep on hoping that someday maybe she'll feel the same as you. Is it a good thing? No, it's a bad thing. Whoa, it's a very bad thing. I should know, 'cause I'm in love and I know she doesn't seem to care about me. So you keep on hoping that someday maybe she'll feel the same as you. Is it a good thing? No, it's a bad thing. Is it a good thing? No, it's a bad thing. Is it a sad?
That's a nice tune there by Mr. Ray Pollard. April 1966 release on United Artists. That's his third release on United Artists. It's a Bad Thing is the name of that one. He had a Big Northern 45 on the Shrine label. It's a good song. I don't have that Shrine 45. I have 3 Shrine records in my collection. So as far as a lot of those Northern Soul records, those I couldn't get for $1. Those I could not, unfortunately. But it's unfortunate that we lost Ray Pollard January 26, 2005 at the age of 74, passed away from cancer, but he definitely left us with some great tunes. As we move on here for the 60s edition, now this next singer, his real name is Ricardo Anthony Bitesh, and he is a French descent. Did I say that right? Yes. He's a Frenchman, we'll say, from Cairo, Egypt. And he has 3 U.S. releases, one in 63 on the Cap label, one in 64 on the Capitol label, and the one that I'm playing on Berry Gordy Jr.'s Motown subsidiary VIP label. We go back to VIP Records. Now, this one from August 65, he recorded as Richard Anthony. It's on VIP. It's called I Don't Know What to Do. VIP record label, division, subsidiary of Motown Records there. Richard Anthony, August 1965, I Don't Know What to Do. Johnny G doesn't know what to do with all these 45s hanging all over the place. Dave the Rave, he yells at me because I have records on the ledge here, the stairs that go down from the attic. I have records. What do you keep those records up there for? I do have a couple piles up there because I run out of space. Yes, I do. Let's continue here. Have another flip side from the last 60s edition by a group called the Four Tempos. They're from Houston, Texas. I played the B-side to their third of four on Eddie Davis's Rampart label. The song was called This Is the Way I Feel. So let's give a listen to the intended A-side before I file it back down in the no humidity basement. We go to February 1968. The Four Tempos on Rampart. It's called I Had a Strange Dream. The sound of the Four Tempos there. February 1968 actually sounds earlier than a 1968 release. I Had a Strange Dream is the name of that one on the Rampart record label. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. Let's continue here, and let's take a trip to Akron, Ohio, to the Westmar record label, which was named after a street, West Market Street, located in Akron. Now, the group is called the N Group. It's just the letter N. It's called the letter N and then Group, which included Jim Jones on lead guitar, Mike Kinch on bass, Alan Harron on drums, and organist and lead singer Earl Jones, who also wrote this tune. We go to November of 1966 for the N Group on Westmar. It's called Keep On Runnin'.
Keep on
Johnny G getting caught here. That is the N Group, November 1966. Keep on Running, the name of the tune on the Westmar record label. Earl Jones, he is on lead, and we continue here. Here's a band from, what is it, Earl Langer, Kentucky. They are called the Bad Seeds, not to be confused with the group by the same name from Corpus Christi, Texas, that recorded for the J. Beck record label, or the group from Oxnard, California, that recorded for the TVA label. This group is from Kentucky and has this lone release on the Columbia label written by John Reynolds, who is the bass player for the group and also doing lead. This one produced and conducted by Robert Mercy. Let's go to June of 1966. They're called the Bad Seeds. On Columbia Records, it's called King of the Soapbox. That's a jangly 45 there by the Bad Seeds. June 1966, King of the Soapbox is the name of that one on the Columbia record label. Let's continue here. This next group, they're called the Missing Links. And when it comes to garage bands, it happens to be a very popular name. Now, the word links can be spelled two ways, either Links or Lynkx. Now, there are 9 different groups that spell it with Links, but that's not how the group I'm featuring spells it. They spell it Lynx, and there are 4 groups that spell it that way. One is in New Hampshire, one is in Ohio, one is in Tennessee, and there is one in Montana. The 45 I have is by the group from Ohio, Cleveland Heights, Ohio, and it's on Bob Crew's Dynavoice label. It features the lead singer of Mark Ostrovsky. I said it right. Let's go to November of 1966. These are the Missing Links on Dynavoice. It's called Behind Locked Doors.
Why can't I love you when the lights are on? I can only come here when there's nobody home.
me so contemptuously. If you love me, pack your things and run away with me. I can't take it anymore because my love is only yours behind locked doors. Behind locked doors, baby, behind locked doors. Behind locked doors, see, behind locked doors.
Wow, that's on Bob Crew's Dynavoice record label. Lots of different types of music on the the Dynavoice record label. And that's how much does that record go for, by the way? Because it only cost me 10 cents for that 45. Anyway, they're called The Missing Links, November 1966, Behind Locked Doors, on the Bob Crew's Dynavoice record label. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Here's a group from Denver, Colorado. They had 4 releases on the Tower label. This is their second. This was a big hit on KIMN in Denver, Colorado. It was a big number 2 record on that station. It features Denny Flanagan on lead. Let's go to October of 65 for this group called the Moonrakers. The Moonrakers on Tower. It's called I'm All Right.
Alright, yeah. It's alright, baby. It's alright. It's alright, baby. I said it's alright, baby. 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 All night long, 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 baby. I just feel alright. I just feel alright, baby. I just feel alright. I just feel alright. Feel alright. I said, do you feel it? Do you feel it? Do you feel it? I said, yeah. Baby, come on, baby.
They like that one there, and the Top Shelf Oldies Traveling, they like the Moonrakers. October 1965 released the second of 4 on the Tower label. I'm All Right is the name of that one. They have 3 more records that came out on the Shamley label. I have those too. Those were cheapies in my excuse me, in my collection. Johnny G here, continuing with the 1960s. Here's a cover song, first recorded by the Beau Brummels in 1964, but this cover is 3 years later on Lee Hazelwood's LHI label. The group is out of Amarillo, Texas. They started recording as the Illusions on the Dot label in 1965. Then in 66, they became the Wyalls. I think that's how you say it, with a release on the Rough label. Then in 67, they changed their name again to the Kitchen Sink, C-I-N-Q, and they put out 5 releases on LHI. Here is their third. It features Mark Creamer on lead. This one charted number 11 on KYNO in Fresno, California. We go to March of 1967. They're called the Kitchen Sink on the LHI label, and doing the Beau Brummels tune, Still in Love with You, Baby.
It's been a pretty long while. It's been a mighty long time. I don't know why I feel this way. Can't figure out the reason I'm still in love with you, baby. Still in love with you, baby. You're driving me crazy. Yes, you're driving me crazy. Still in love with you, baby. Don't you know my heart is breaking up inside of me? I can't go on this way forever. I can't go on this way for long. I have a feeling you don't love me. Why don't you prove that I'm wrong? Still in love with you, baby. Still in love with you, baby. You're also driving me crazy. Yes, you're driving me crazy. Still in love with you, baby. Don't you know my heart is breaking up inside of me? I'd like to know that you were mine. It would be fine with me. But I can tell what's on your mind. I hope you find it's me. What can I do so I can prove it? What can I do to show my love? If you want my baby, move it. Don't want a one-sided love. We're still in love with you, baby. Still in love with you, baby. You're still driving me crazy. Yes, you're driving me crazy. Still in love with you, baby. Don't you know my heart is breaking up inside of me? I'd like to know that you were mine. It would be fine with me. But I can't tell what's on your mind. I hope you can find it's me. What can I do so I can prove it? What can I do to show my love? If you want my baby, move it. Don't want a one-sided love. We're still in love with you, baby. Still in love with you, baby. You're still driving me crazy. Yes, you're driving me crazy. I'm still in love with you, baby. Don't you know my heart is breaking up inside of me? Baby, don't you know my heart is breaking up inside of me?
They're called the Kitchen Sink. The Kitchen Sink, March 1967 release, Still in Love with You, Baby, is the name of that one. That originally done by the Beau Brummels in 1964. That's 1967. Lee Hazelwood's LHI label. They would have 2 more releases in 68 on the Decca label. We move on here, and how about a male-female duet as we head out to Hollywood, California. They were previously members of the Greenwood Country Singers that recorded for Cap Records. They are Rick Gerard and Donna DeMarthina. No, Donna DeMarthina, also known as Rick and Donna. This is 45 on the Tower label. We go to December of 64 for Rick and Donna on Tower, and their song called What Good Is Love?
What can I do?
That's Rick and Donna. Rick and Donna on the Tower label. December 64 release, What Good Is Love is the name of that one. You can go to YouTube. There's a YouTube video of them doing that song on Hollywood A Go-Go. It's a pretty cool clip of them. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We're spinning 1960s. We do it the last Saturday of every month. Let's move on here. Here's a group out of Staten Island, New York. They initially recorded as the Cat's Meow on the Decca label. Then they changed their name to the Beeds, Beeds. They had this 45 on the Team label. It features John Ventura on lead. Let's go to October of 1968. It's on the Team label. These are the Beeds with Run to Her.
Is it too late for me to let her know just how much I really love her so? You should know, 'cause you're her best friend. She is leaving on the midnight plane, and she's never coming back again. Let me know just what I'm supposed to do. Oh, should I run to her and let her know just how much I care? Run to her and hope that she's still waiting there. Is it too late for me to be a man? Do you think that you will understand that it's hard for me to say just how I feel? The time has come for us to say goodbye, but if she leaves me, oh, I know I'll cry. Tell me now just what I'm supposed to do. Oh, should I run to her and let her know just how much I care? Run to her and hope that she's still waiting there.
October 68, released there for a group called The Beeds. The Beeds on the Team label. Run to Her is the name of that one. John Ventura, he's the lead singer. They would have one more release on the Buddha label, I think in 1970, if I'm not mistaken. Johnny G here spinning 1960s. Let's continue now. Earlier in the show, we heard from an Australian singer, Jamie Mahar, on Warner Brothers. Up next, we have a band from Sydney, Australia. Their signature song was back in 1966. It was a hit on the United Artists label. You may recall it. It was called Friday on My Mind, which was their first release on United Artists. Here's the B-side to their second, written by group members George Young and Henry Vanda. This one features Steve Wright on lead. We go to June of 1967 for the Easy Beats. The Easy Beats on United Artists. It's a B-side. It's called Pretty Girl.
Pretty girl walks up and down the street. Pretty girl, kind of girl I'd like to meet. She don't even know my name. Shame, but it wouldn't be right just to walk up to her, and I wouldn't feel right just to stand back while her pretty girl side with me. I don't even know your name, Jane. She's got good eyes and no brown hair, the kind of girl that comes to give you walking on air. She's got good eyes and no brown hair, the kind of girl that everybody stops and stares, asking you what you do. Say you do.
That's the second of 5 on United Artists for the Easy Beats. June 67 release, Pretty Girl is the name of that one. And their first release in the U.S. came out on the Ascot label. Now, the lead singer was Steve Wright. That we lost him December 27th, 2015. Complications from pneumonia. He was 68 years old, and unfortunate for that, but left us with some great music as we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Here's another duo. They are out of Nashville, Tennessee, and they have this one release on the Look label. It's a division of Starday Records. They're called Del Trolinder and Rick Madlock, a.k.a. Rick and Del, and they wrote both sides of this 45. Let's give a listen to the intended B-side. We go back to April of 67 for Rick and Del on the Look label. It's called Sweet Little Girl.
It's just not right to hurt her so. No, it's wrong to keep her guessing. If you don't care, why don't you let her go? Sweet little girl, she loves you. Sweet little girl, she wants you. Sweet little girl, I wish that she were mine. If she were mine, I'd never hurt her. I'd always love her tenderly. I know that we could be so happy if only she belonged to me. Sweet little girl, she loves you. Sweet little girl, she wants you. Sweet little girl, I wish that she were mine. Someday when she's tired of you, she'll turn around and I'll be there. Sweet little girl, she loves you. Sweet little girl, she wants you. Sweet little girl, I wish that she were mine.
That guitar riff reminds me of Claudette. Pretty Little Girl, Claudette. Doesn't it? By the Everly Brothers. Anyway, that is Adele and Rick, Del Trolinder and Rick Madlock. April 67 release on the Look label, Sweet Little Girl. As we continue here, now I couldn't find where this next group is from, and they had 6 releases, though, on the Coral label between 1961 and 1964. Now, some really nice transitional group harmony soul, I guess we can call it. But this is their 5th of 6 on the Coral label. This one charted regionally, was number 11 on WWIN out of Baltimore, Maryland. And I don't know, maybe this group, I guess, is out of New York City. Let's give it a spin. March 64, the Exotics on the Coral label. It's called Sad, Sad Song.
Oh, darling, I didn't know what to do. I nearly went out of my head at the thought of losing you. Yeah, 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 yeah. I tossed and I turned on my pillow, yeah, and I cried the whole night through. Then all of a sudden it struck me, and I knew exactly what to do. I sang myself a sad, sad song. I say it was a sad, sad song. I sang myself a sad, sad song. A sad, sad song. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So if your new love, yeah, he turns his back on you, and you don't know, you don't know what to do. Don't come running back to me, 'cause then I don't need you. Throw your head down, let the tears flow, and this is what you do. Sing yourself a sad, sad song. Be sure that it's a sad, sad song. About the blues, sad, sad song. And about the love that I had to lose, sad, sad song. How you broke my heart, sad, sad song. How you ripped me all apart, yeah, 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 yeah. Sad, sad song. Be sure that it's a sad, sad song. Be sure that it's a sad, sad song. A sad, sad song. About the blues, yeah. Baby, tell about the heart you had to break. Tell you how you broke my heart.
That's the fifth of six for a group called the Exotics. March 1964 on the Coral record label. Sad, Sad Song is the name of that one. I think they also do a song called Manpower. I think that's the song by the group. Another great record that they do. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening, all 1960s 45s. Up next, I have Four Sisters from Los Angeles, California. This is the record I was going to send out to North Dakota Bob before he left to go to sleep, but it's going out to you, North Dakota Bob. Four Sisters from Los Angeles, California, and this group recorded on different labels, but here's the first of two that came out on Capitol Records. They are Diane Rosemary, Sylvia, and Margaret Sandoval. And let's send this one out, as I mentioned, to North Dakota Bob. This one from October 65. They're called The Girls. The Girls on Capitol. It's called My Baby.
My
Yes, Daryl. Actually, let me check to see if this. You're right. They do a song called Chico's Girl. You're right. That's the same group. They are the Girls. October 1965, My Baby is the name of the tune on the Capitol record label. That one produced by Steve Douglas. Johnny G here, spinning 60s records. Let's go now for this next artist. You all know he was born Thomas Jones Woodward. He's from Pontypridd, South Wales, formed whoops, sorry about that. Formed his own trio back in 1963. Now, his first release in the U.S. came out on the Parrot label. It was a top 10 national hit. Song I like, by the way. Song entitled It's Not Unusual, but he scored 10 top 20 singles between 1965 and 1971. Then he returned, actually made a major comeback in 1977 with his song Say You'll Stay Until Tomorrow. I think he was on Epic Records then. And then in 1989, which I was totally out of contemporary music by then, but had a big hit again with a song called Kiss. But here's the B-side to his 11th of 34 releases on the Parrot label. He had 34 releases between 1965 and 1975 on the Parrot label. This is from July 67. Of course, Mr. Tom Jones on Parrot. It's called Things I Wanna Do.
Things I wanna do, I would make you run to me. Oh, how I'd love to be the master of you. If I could do the things I wanna do, in my arms I'd make you stay close to me night and day. That's what I do forever and ever. I'd feel like a king, but I wouldn't be all alone. No, I'd make you a queen and sit on a golden throne, and I would be beside you if I could do the things I wanna do. I wanna do. If I could do the things I wanna do, I would make you run to me. Oh, how I'd love to be the master of you. If I could do the things I wanna do, in my arms I'd make you stay close to me night and day. That's what I do forever and ever. I'd feel like a king, but I wouldn't be all alone. No. I'd make you a queen and sit on a golden throne, and I would be beside you if I could do the things I want to do. I want to do.
B-sides here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. That's Mr. Tom Jones. That's the B-side to a song called 16 Tons. It was number 68 on the Billboard chart for him, but I like that side better. Things I Want to Do. Tom Jones from July 1967, his 11th on the Parrot record label. Let's continue here. Now, this next group, they're from Washington, D.C. They're called the Stowaways. I'm playing the intended A-side of their 45. It has a date etched in the dead wax. It says May May 31st, 1965. Probably that was the date it was recorded. But the August 28th, 1965 Record World magazine, the trade magazine, which is, by the way, I think one of the better magazines, it shows that this record charted number 48 on WWDC out of Washington, D.C., and it's like a Four Seasons sound to this song here. Let's give it a spin. August 65 for the Stowaways on the Joni label. Looks like the Reprise label, a pink Reprise label. It's called Where Are You When I'm Lonely? They're called the Stowaways. Stowaways, August 65 release, Where Are You When I'm Lonely? Yeah. Joni Records there out of Washington, D.C. As we continue here, many 60s shows ago, maybe a number of months ago, I should say, played the A-side of this MGM release by this Cleveland, Ohio singer, his second on MGM. It was called When You Love Me. Now, his real name is Jerry Allen Vanesky. Jerry Allen Vanesky, but his stage name was Jerry Channing. So let's flip over that 45, give a spin to the B-side before I file it back down on the no humidity bass, because I like the B-side too. From December 66, Jerry Channing on MGM. It's called Lonely, Just Like Me.
Sunlight from your heart and let your golden dreams depart. An empty person you will be
and she left me in my tears. Just take one sad and lonely night and lay some purple there inside, then paint a cast of misery, and you'll be lonely just like me, and you'll be lonely just like me, and you'll be lonely just like me.
December 66 release for Jerry Channing. That is the B-side to his tune, or his song, or his 45, When You Love Me. That song called Lonely, Just Like Me. As we move on here, we go to Morris Levy's Roulette record label for this next 45. This group has two on the Roulette label. This is their first. They're known as the Court Jesters, and they're supposedly Danny Jordan and Tommy Wynn, who were both formerly members of the Detergents, who also recorded for Roulette, and they produced it. This one written by Richie Cordell and Sal Tramaci. I'm playing the intended B-side of the 45. We go to January 1967 for the Court Jesters on Roulette Records. It's called Baby, Baby Come Home.
A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. What will I do on Saturday night? Girl, without you, it's just not right. Ever since you left, I've been a lonely guy. Every night I tell myself another lie. Wherever you go, girl, whatever you do, it's breaking my heart, girl, that I'm not with you. Let's get together and I won't be blue. So baby, 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 come on. Hey girl, baby, come on. Hey girl, if I was wrong, then I'll make it right. It's been so long since I held you tight. Ever since you left, I've been a lonely guy. Every night I tell myself another lie. Wherever you go, girl, whatever you do, it's breaking my heart, girl, that I'm not with you. Let's get together, then I won't be blue. So baby, 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 come on. Hey girl, baby, come on. Hey girl. So baby, 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 come on. Hey girl, baby, come on. Hey girl, baby, come on. Hey girl, baby, 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 come on. Hey girl, baby, come on.
January 67 release there on Morris Levy's Roulette record label. They're called the Court Jesters. Court Jesters, the official title, it says Baby in parentheses. Then Baby Come Home is the name of that tune. Hopefully you're digging on all these cool 60s 45s out of Johnny G's collection. And let's go back to the last 60s edition. I opened up the vocal portion with this Brooklyn, New York group. They were known as the Invitations. And it was their third, I'm losing my voice. It was their third release on the Dyna Voice label, a song entitled Skiing in the Snow, which happens to be their most independent on-demand 45, but I also like the B-side of the record. It was written and produced by Denny Randell and Sandy Linzer. It features Roy Jolly on lead. This is the B-side to Skiing in the Snow from December 65. They're called The Invitations on Dyna Voice. It's called Why Did My Baby Turn Bad? Making a noise at the end of the record there. That is a Bob Cruz Dyna Voice record label, December 1965. Those are the Invitations out of Brooklyn, New York. Why Did My Baby Turn Bad? That's the B-side of the 45. Let's now move out to Los Angeles, California for this next one. The lead singer of this group was previously the lead of the Shamans on the K-Ham record label back in 1959. So some of you that listen to my 50 show, you'll know that group. But his new group had 11 releases on the Audio Arts label. Their biggest hit was their first release. It was called I'll Make It Easy. But this is the B-side to their fifth. It was written by the lead singer. His name is Cal Wayman. Cal Wayman, this from April 67. They're called The Incredibles. The Incredibles on Audio Arts. The song is called I Found Another Love.
I wanna thank you for making me blue.
They're liking that one there in the Top Shelf Oldies chat room. That's actually the B-side. That is the better side by the Incredibles. April 67 release. That is their 5th release on the Audio Arts label. I Found Another Love is the name of that one. Cal Wayman, he's on lead. Remember, was Greg Surik sold me that record, I think, for $40. Well worth the $40, I say. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We continue now, and this next artist, mainly known as a 1950s act, actually he goes back further, as has a release on the Hub label back in 1946. He's from Bloomfield, New Jersey. He was the leader of a group called the Thunderbirds, and also he was a member of a famous duet. I'm sure you're familiar with songs like Lottie Da, Lucky Ladybug. Of course, that was Billy of Billy and Lily. His name is Billy Ford, and this is his final overall release on the Reprise record label. It's arranged by Jack Nietzsche, produced by Jimmy Bowen, and too bad this record never charted, because it should have. This one from February 64, Billy Ford on Reprise. It's called This Is Worth Fighting For.
I saw a peaceful old valley with a carpet of corn for the floor. Then I heard a voice within me whisper, yeah, this is what I'm fighting for. Oh, I saw a little old cabin with a river that flowed by the door. Then I heard a voice within me whisper, yeah, this is worth fighting for. Yeah, oh, didn't I feel that heavy? Didn't I plant that corn? Didn't my folks before me? Didn't they fight for this country before I gathered all my loved ones around me, and I gazed at each face I adore. Then I heard a voice within me wonder, this is worth fighting for. Didn't my folks sweat and toil? Didn't their blood stain the soil?
Wow, that's a great record there. Has Stone Mint copy for a couple dollars there. Well worth the $2 I paid for that 45. Billy Ford, who was much older at the time. He was pretty old. I mean, if you look at Billy and Lily, he was like in his 30s, like late 30s, and she was a teenager. But that's Billy Ford. That's his last record. Last record, February 64 on the Reprise label. This is worth fighting for. Yes, it is. Let's move on here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Up next, this female singer. She was the lead of the Essex. They had a big #1 hit on Morris Levy's Roulette label back in 63. I'm sure you know the tune, Easier Said Than Done. But she was born in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Her real name is Anita Humes Chapello, but she had a couple of solo releases on the Roulette record label. This is her first, produced by Steve Vanette, arranged by Artie Butler. We go to July 1964 for Anita Humes on Roulette, and her tune's called When Something's Hard to Get.
When something's hard to get, it's worth waiting for. And he's so hard to get, it makes me love him that much more. I dream of his kisses, so few and far apart. And I wake up wondering if I'll ever get into his heart. When something's hard to get, it's worth waiting for. When someone's hard to hold, you wanna hold him that much more. And so I keep on waiting, waiting patiently, until he's ready to give all his loving to me. He loves me not. Which one can it be? Either way, I know I've got to stick around and see. When something's hard to get, it's worth waiting for. So I'll play hard to get, and then he'll want me that much more. And so I keep on waiting, waiting patiently, until he's ready to give all his loving to me. He loves me not. Which one can it be? Either way, I know I've got to stick around and see. 'Cause when something's hard to get, it's worth waiting for. So I'll play hard to get, and then he'll want me that much more. And so I keep on waiting, waiting patiently, until he's ready to give all his loving to me.
Her name is Anita Humes. She was the lead singer of the Essex. The Essex there, maybe they're backing her up on that one. It doesn't mention them on the label. But July 64, Roulette Records, When Something's Hard to Get is the name of the tune. That's her first of two on the Roulette record label. But some records are very hard to get. JohnnyG's never going to get all all the ones that I want on my want list, but hey, what are you gonna do? Got some. Let's continue. Here we are in Vinyl Treasure overtime, so we got a couple more. We always play a little bit into the overtime. Now here's a singer out of Baltimore, Maryland. He was born Roger Dale Paesch. Did I say it right? Paesch. His first record is a great tune. It came out on the Select label. It's called The Minute My Back Was Turned. That's a great record on the Select label. But he followed it up with this release on the Twirl label. We go to February 66 for Mr. Roger Pace. Roger Pace on Twirl. It's called You Better Know What You're Doing.
When you walk out that door, you
That's on the Twirl label. I think Twirl's out of Detroit, if I'm not mistaken. But Roger Pace is his name. That's his second record, February 1966. You Better Know What You're Doing. Johnny G knows what he's doing. I play original vinyl 45s from 10 to midnight every Saturday right here on Top Shelf Oldies. Let's continue here in Vinyl Treasure Overtime. Can't tell you much, though, about this next female artist, but this single never made it, although the arranger and co-writer Artie Schroederek, did I say that right? Yeah, Schroederek produced other artists that had major success, like the Four Seasons and the Cowsills and Shane Martin and many others, but not this gal, unfortunately. Her name is Joanne Morgan, and this is on the MGM record label. We go to January 1967. Joanne Morgan on MGM. It's called Just How Loud, parentheses, Must the Music Play? Her name is Joanne Morgan, January 1967 release on the MGM record banner. Just How Loud Must the Music Play is the name of the tune. Remember the neighbors next door? They would send me nasty emails that their guests couldn't sleep because I was playing the music too loud. I'm like, how the hell are they listening to my music? So close your window is what I wanted to say to them. But they threatened to call the police on me, but they moved to Ireland, so I don't think they can hear the music over in Ireland. Anyway, Johnny G babbling on. Here we are in Vinyl Treasure Overtime. And, excuse me, let's continue here for this trio from Harlem, New York. They began recording in 1964 as The Poets. And the group consisted of the lead, Donald McPherson, also Luther Simmons and Tony Sylvester. They first signed with Redbird Records. They had 2 releases on the Redbird label. Then they changed their name to the Insiders, and they signed with RCA Records. This is the second of 2 they recorded on RCA as the Insiders. It features Donald McPherson on lead. We go back to September 1967, RCA Records. These are the Insiders with If You Had a Heart. That's the second of 2 for the Insiders on the RCA record labels. The Insiders with If You Had a Heart, September 1967, with Donald McPherson on lead. After this release, they changed their name once again. They got their new name off of a Coke bottle, and they became the main ingredient. Yes, they did, Jeff. You are correct. They eventually became the main ingredient and bought that 45, Just Don't Want to Be Lonely, and Everybody Plays a Fool, plus others by the main ingredient. Johnny G's doing Vinyltreasure Overtime. We're going to go for, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 more 45s because I told Dave the Rave I would play this other record, and that's going to be the end of the show here. So let's head to Detroit, Michigan for this singer. No, is she from Detroit? I don't know, but the label definitely is. But this singer born Agatha Weston, she signed with Motown Records back in 1963. She had a number of releases on the Tamla and the Gordy label. Her biggest hits were Take Me in Your Arms from 1965 on the Gordy label. Also, she had a hit with It Takes Two and a duet with Marvin Gaye on the Tamla label. But this was her first of 3 I'm featuring on the Gordy label right before her big hit Take Me in Your Arms. And this song was number 5 on WWIN in Baltimore, Maryland. Let's go to April 65 for Miss Kim Weston. Kim Weston on Gordy. It's called A Thrill, a Moment. That's Kim Weston. Kim Weston, April 65, the first of three she recorded on the Gordy label. A Thrill, a Moment is the name of that one on the Gordy record label. We got 1, 2, 3 more 45s to go before Johnny G signs off here. Here's another female singer that was a member of the 1950s girl group The Hearts. She went solo back in 1957 on Zell Sanders' J&S record label, but through the years recorded for a number of different labels. She had 16 releases on Juggy Murray's Sue label. Let's give a listen to her sixth. This one arranged by Bert Keys. This one charted number 18 on WWIN out of Baltimore, Maryland. We go to September 63 for Baby Washington. Baby Washington on Sue. It's called Hey, Lonely One.
I took a look in the mirror, and what did I see? For once in my life, I gave a lecture to me. Hey, lonely, see what you've done. You thought you were smart, yeah. You thought it would be So here you are standing with tears in your eyes. Thought he'd never find out. You thought you were wise. Hey, lonely, let me see you smile. Come on, you crave to be grown up. Now why you acting like a child? Hey, lonely, I bet you're sorry now. Oh yeah. Your friends all say you shouldn't care. Tell me, what do they know about your love affair? Now you did the hurting, oh yeah, and you played the game. I know you did the cheating, oh, while he took the blame. Oh, come on, remember while you're blue. Everything you've done, oh yeah, has come back to you. Hey, lonely, I bet you're sorry now. Oh yes, you are. Hey, lonely one, I bet you're sorry now. Yeah, hey, lonely one, I bet you're sorry now.
That's a nice tune there by Miss Baby Washington. September 63 release, Hey Lonely One. That one there on the Sue record label. 2 more 45s to go before Johnny G signs off. Here we head to Philadelphia for this next singer, born Herbert Eugene McCracken. First recorded on the Buddy label back in 1964. A release followed on the Argo label in 65. But here's one on the Filet of Soul label. It's a song he wrote, arranged by Bobby Martin. His name is Herb Ward. Herb Ward from February 68 on Filet of Soul. It's called You Can Cry. Scratchy.
When your love leaves you, you're all alone and blue. In your heart you feel the pain now. Oh, how it tortures you. And cry, 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 cry. Oh, you can cry too. Baby, baby. After all the love you shared, all from you can't help from feeling bad now that your love fell through. You can cry, 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 cry. Oh, you can cry too. Yeah, now baby, 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 baby. Why did your love leave you? Why did she deceive you now? You feel just like you could die, 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 die. But you know it's over. And when you think it's over, you feel much better if you get down on your knees and cry. So you say goodbye to love, and it's not so bad. You may find another love that you never had. You can cry, 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 cry. Oh, you can cry too. Hey, baby, 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 baby.
Scratchy. That's a scratchy 45. That artist out of Philadelphia, PA. His name is Herb Ward. February 1968 release. On the Filet of Soul record label, You Can Cry is the name of the tune. That's going to do it for Johnny G and the Vinyl Treasure Show. I want to thank you for joining Johnny G, listening to original vinyl 45s out of my collection. You want to get in touch with Johnny G, send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com. You could also recording this one for YouTube. And if you missed any of the show, you can go back to my YouTube site and you can view the records, or you can go to vinyltreasures.net where you can stream or download the audio for the show there. And that's going to do it for tonight's show. I had a lot of fun. We're going to close the show tonight with a gal from Los Angeles, California. And this is her first single, actually came out on Billy Revis's Revis label back in '64, and she was Billy's wife, and then she signed with Liberty Records, and I'm spinning her second of 3 on the Liberty label, written and produced by Jerry Capehart, arranged by Ernie Freeman, and the closer is by Rosalind Madison. Rosalind Madison from May '65 on Liberty. It's called Neighborhood Girl. Well, that's going to do it, folks, and please tune in tomorrow evening for my buddy Dave the Raven, his Relics and Rarities show. It all begins here at 9 o'clock, 9 to midnight, right here on Top Shelf Oldies, and all the DJs during the week here on Top Shelf Oldies. It's a great station to be on. I enjoyed bringing you my 60s collection tonight. Thank you, Charlene, for all your help again last minute. I got a dinner next Saturday, so I'm going to have to do a lot during the week. It'll be all 50s and early 60s next Saturday, starting at 10 p.m., so we'll be back to the same 50s and 60s that I do for the majority of the month. Then that's going to do it, folks. So hope you enjoyed the tunes tonight. I enjoy bringing them to you every Saturday. Have a safe and happy week. I'll see you here next Saturday starting at 10 p.m. right here for the Vinyl Treasure Show. Just want to say, everybody, so long. Oh, no.
Just a neighborhood girl. I can't help it if I'm different. You know I can't. Just a neighborhood girl. I'm in love with a boy who won't love back. Neighborhood girl. I'm just a neighborhood girl from the wrong side of the track. But I can't help that. There he goes with his head held high, and he won't speak when he walks by. But tonight, when there's no light, he'll be mine again. I'm just a neighborhood girl. With my hopes and my dreams made for a king. Just a neighborhood girl. Just a neighborhood girl. He's so rich, I'm so poor. Where is my ring? Neighborhood girl. I'm just a neighborhood girl. Better not go there alone. Mind my mother, stay at home. Today, but I never will. I'm just a neighborhood girl. I really, really love the boy. Just a neighborhood girl. You know he treats me like a toy. Just a neighborhood girl. I'll be the neighborhood.
Did I shut off the? I closed down on the Top Shelf Oldies thing, so I did that. I didn't show the other two records out of Philadelphia. You Can Cry by Herb Ward. It's not in great shape. Joel Scherzer sold me this one. Not expensive, but oh, you're not sleeping, Fred? Maybe Fred was sleeping. And then we closed with Dave needed me to play this record because I think he wants to play his copy. The closer was Neighborhood Girl by Rosalind Madison. Actually, this DJ has the same song on both sides. He asked me if I have a stock copy of it. I don't know, Fred. You got to check. Do they have a actual flip side of this record? I'm not sure. Anyway, really, Alex, you're way behind. Way behind. Put this up a little further so you can see the vinyl. You can see what Barbara gave me back there. But anyway, I'm a happy camper because I passed my kidney stone. I could say that now because it was a problematic thing, was making me feel ill. But anyway, Charlene, thanks again for all your help last minute. I'm going to have next Saturday, Barbara and I have a dinner early, though, but I'll be back before 10, so I'm going to have to prepare the show earlier. But I'm glad that you guys stuck around. Much appreciated. And David, they're way behind listening still in the chat room over there. But anyway, I'm babbling on here, folks. So have a safe and happy week again, and I'll see you next Saturday. If you have any requests, send me requests. Actually, Rick in Philly, I got to pull out some records that he wants to hear. But anyway, I'll see you next Saturday, folks. So long.